Good evening, Johnny. Today is Wednesday, March 21st, and I know that I didn't make a proper Monday vlog on Monday. Instead, I posted that music video. I hope you enjoyed it, but I didn't have time because I was making that video. So instead of just talking about random stuff today, I thought I'd share a story, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, I'd like to ask you a question. So I'm wearing my keys like I always do. You don't always see them in the video because my necklace wears out and breaks a lot. But I was wondering, because my t-shirt has lots of keys on it, does the key necklace plus the key shirt, is that too many keys or does it work? I have no idea. So I just thought I'd ask your opinion. Next, tomorrow is Question Thursday, and your question for tomorrow is to make a how-to video of how to make a origami crane. Because my dinosaur's been kind of lonely, and I think he'd like a companion. So if you could teach me how to make one of those, that would be awesome. I've also been kind of busy lately. Sorry, that's why the bed has not yet been made today. I usually try and make it for the vlog, but sorry. In case you were unaware, I have an on-campus job, and I work at a place called the Testing Center. It's a place on campus where tests are administered. Rather than taking your test in your classroom that's either administered by your professor or your TAs, your professor will submit the test to the testing center where it is processed, and then we hand it out to students and then proctor the tests. Usually, students are allowed to come in anytime during testing center hours to take their test during the allotted testing period, which is anywhere from 1 or 2 days to an entire week. Now, the testing center opens at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they hand out the last test at 9 o'clock at night, and then it's open for 1 more hour and closes officially at 10 o'clock. Now, the testing center is made up of 2 main floors. One is ground level floor, and then there's one above it. The ground level floor is an area where students can study, or there's overflow seating if we need it, or there's classrooms down there that are used during the day. On the upper floor is the big testing room, full of about 600 desks just lined up in rows, going on and on for what seems like forever. At the testing center, we make announcements on the ground floor letting students know that they have 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and then that we are closing to let them know that we'll be handing out the last test soon, and so they can gauge how much time they have until they need to come pick up their test if they want to take one that night. We make similar announcements in the Great Hall, letting students know that they have 15 minutes to complete their test, then 5 minutes, and then we're closing so that they can keep track of time and let them know that they need to be finishing. I always work the night shift, and on this particular evening, I volunteered to make the announcements. So we have an intercom that is operated through this phone that we use, and it's 8:45, and I'm supposed to be making the announcement on the ground floor, letting students know that they have 15 minutes to come pick up a test. So I pick up the phone, and I press the button to make the announcement, and it goes something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, the testing center will be handing out the last test, and oh my gosh! Those last 3 words I kind of shouted into the telephone, and it was quite loud. I would shout for you, but I'm kind of tired, and it's late at night, and people are trying to sleep. It was at that moment that I realized that I had not made an announcement on the ground floor letting students know that they needed to come get a test. Instead, I had made an announcement into the giant testing room full of 600 people taking tests. Prior to my announcement, the testing center had been completely quiet, and people had been going about their business, students were taking tests, and there was perfect tranquility in the testing room. As I begin making the announcement, students begin to look around, confused, and then when they hear me shouting into the telephone, oh my gosh, they all start laughing, and my co-workers start laughing, and I turn bright red. And I start laughing so hard that tears are streaming down my face. The next time I'm in my environmental biology class, I'm sitting next to my friend Hannah, who you know, Johnny, she lives down the street, and I decide to recount to her this horrifically embarrassing experience. As I am in the process of telling her about how I was making this announcement, she looks at me and says, "Oh my gosh, that was you?" Yes, that was me. I did make a complete fool of myself on an intercom. Thank you for noticing. I would like to add that that night I continued to make the rest of the announcements, and I did not mess any more up. I will never be able to live this down. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you thought my embarrassing story was funny or embarrassing or something. Either way, I look forward to seeing your video tomorrow.